Welcome to hell.
I am Lord Satinel, and in the raging flames of hell today, Final Fantasy 16, the review. Final Fantasy 16 is a game that will take you on a journey, but like all trips, there are ups and downs along the way. And while I think the game executes some features very well, it feels extremely underwhelming in other ways. Objectively, it's not a perfect game. There are flaws in it, and I even wear the nostalgia cap as I grew up playing the Final Fantasy series. I will give you a fair and objective review onto today's video. Our first negative against the game is the gearing, and not only is there no unique gear, but it's very time gated to only increase your power level very minimally. Oftentimes you really won't feel stronger after getting a new weapon, and the same can be said about the gear. There is a difference between your first weapon and the final, but most of the game is spent with a +5 increase at a time, so it will be hard to notice significant change throughout the game. Leveling feels stale compared to the other entries in this series, and while the game does a good job of keeping you leveled appropriately, for those who enjoyed going off to explore and grind, they will find it very underwhelming, not rewarding, or worth their time and effort. And those who struggle in this game or want to feel the power fantasy of just being a god, they will have to suffice with the cheat rings right now, allowing you to enjoy the game easily and feel overpowered. And it's not a perfect solution for everyone, but it never will be, and at least it's a solution. Gear as a whole was never a huge thing though. Like, you never felt like you were missing a lot if you just kept on the XP/AP boosters unless you wanted to use the cheat rings. There's only 4 stats: attack, health, defense, and stagger. More stat options would offer different build paths. Maybe a magic or a spirit stat as an example, but being able to focus on a playstyle you prefer would only make the already fun combat even better. Let's move on to the next issue with side quests and the rewards. The problem is half the side quests are very bad and just not enjoyable to do. An interesting thing about the side quest is they're basically feast or famine on lore dumps. Some give you absolutely nothing, while others feel like they're vital for the story. Like, for example, the only way of learning that the brands contain wyvern venom and are deadly to remove is the side quest. Adding to the problem is the rewards in this game feel very lackluster all around for completing them. They also follow the same pattern all game. Side quest story, run to an area, kill a pack of mobs early game, or kill a pack of mobs and a big guy late game. Then get the item from killing them, or pick flowers, or killing them was the side quest. The pacing is absolute trash in this game. You go from fighting Titan in this huge epic cinematic battle to literally picking up sand for an NPC. And at the end of the game, they vomit so much side content before the final mission. It's 5+ hours of side stuff to do, which is at a point where there's a major story event that happened, and you really just want to see how it all plays out. This all happens because they time gate you the whole game, so you're around the power level that they want you to be at for the story moments, and then endgame not needing to hold back anymore, so they vomit it all over you. Instead of spreading it out better throughout the whole game and fixing some parts where it's lacking side content. The world map is very bland and linear, with the same formula all game, with 2 groups of mobs and a cutscene. On the map you will never find the urge to explore any of it, for there is no reason or point to do so, other than racing to the top of a hill to kill 2 packs of mobs just to get 2 gil. You are not able to jump down ledges or cliffs, and it's annoying, so you always have to walk around and find a way down. Even if it's a little jump, you're not allowed. Clive skips leg day, so his fragile little ankles can't handle it. Later on in a side quest, you can get your chocobo, which will make running through the maps a little better, and there are obelisks you can fast travel to, which makes it a little bit more bearable. The story is straight misery porn, and I mean it. It's a very dark story, and that's all because 16 is meant to bring new players into the series. But every time you think you know what's happening next and a little ray of sunlight is coming to shine some light into the dark abyss of this game, it just smiles like the goddamn Cheshire cat in the dark while unfolding more misery before your eyes. Because everything's just awful all the time in Clive's life. Sorry, Clive. I'm gonna throw some personal complaints in here. This will not affect the game review, but these annoyed me. Clive's speed is abysmal, and his slow ass makes moving around the areas feel so much worse. I know the game is based on realism, and no one sprints like they're Usain Bolt everywhere they go, but Clive walks around like the kid who got a bad grade on his report card and knows getting home means getting belted in his face. But that's all game. He moves at this pace, probably because he never brings good news to anyone. Maybe Clive should get belted in his face. But we need to be able to pull back from realism when it's just making the game worse for no real benefit to the gameplay other than it's what happens in real life. I can't shoot fire out of my fingertips in real life, but Clive still can. So maybe the option to sprint on a button would have just been a positive. The second base we move into. Oh my god, please, for the love of this game, fix it. It's a huge map that you have to use Clive's slow ass on, and it takes forever to traverse this map and makes doing anything here feel like a chore, and you're forcing yourself to do them. This map will put a quest over here and have you run to the polar opposite side to talk with another member, only then to run your ass all the way back. It's not fun, and Yoshi P, I know you play 14. I really thought you were going to put aetheryte crystals around the base to make traveling it feel less damning, or have Sid come up with something. Or letting Clive run in the base would have helped make it feel better. After all, he owns the base. I think it's a big negative that this game launched without the option to turn off motion blur. And I'm aware that they put out a patch to fix it, but it needs to be mentioned that not being in on launch is unacceptable from an experienced dev. Lots of people have motion sickness or get dizzy from these effects. That's why most games have the option to take it off. Plus, some people don't like it because it just makes it hard for them to see, and it feels like the game punishes you because they wanted to try to have realism, and the game placed its own aesthetics over people's comfort. It's like Clive is hammered 24/7, so everything is blurry and spinning, which is why he can't run, obviously. And finally, for the negatives, I really would have loved to see a separation from 14's elements in 16. The side quest follows 14's quest to a T with how they set up and play out, and there is nothing wrong with that, but I like to keep my MMO and single player story games separate. Even the UI is similar to 14's, and I also noticed some similar boss fights being like trials. Nothing wrong with using what you're comfortable with, but it's just a small thing I noticed when I played this game. Unlike FF16, I will now shine some light on this game and break up the misery porno I've been filming. I guess the story rubbed off on me. Let's talk about the graphics in this game. They are absolutely gorgeous. From the characters to the scenery, you are in for some breathtaking sights. The cutscenes are very beautiful and cinematic. You can just feel all of the love and effort that they put into these features. This story is so damn good. Yes, I talked about it being dark, but that doesn't make it bad. It's so good, in fact, no matter how dark it gets or how much blood fills your screen, you just can't turn your head away. There are some surprises I found in the story, and in all honesty, it's the first Final Fantasy that gets to go this hard. Whether you're a new or a veteran Final Fantasy player, this story has something for everyone.
Word of advice, miss. That soup could do with a touch more salt.
The other half of the side quest. That's right, the other fucking half of these side quests, with all the damn lore in it, is so damn good that honestly, it feels like they should have been main story level quests, because they carry that much weight, honestly. I also love that these side quests are chained throughout the story, giving you a bigger story overall. You would start it and then finish it and wonder, what else will happen? Do the MSQ, then the next round of quest unlock, and you get to see how they continue. Actually feel excited to see what would happen in the future of these quests. It made the world feel more alive, like it's reacting to what you were doing in the main story missions, and made you feel, dare I say, immersed. Combat is really where this game shines. It's so much fun, and there's a lot of variety that picks up once you hit that midway point, and you can afford and master some of the abilities, allowing you to try out different combos, change up your playstyle whenever you want. It's handled very well in this game. The action and combos are fun, and on bigger threats, staggering them and seeing how much DPS you were able to do in that time frame was downright fun. This and the story clearly ate up 90% of their time and effort for how good they are. Yes, it's not turn-based, but this combat really does fit the story and the setting in this game. They play well off of each other and elevate each other to higher levels and really make you feel a part of the world. Renown board was really fun for me and had some of the best rewards you could get all game. From early massive AP boost to powerful accessories like the Berserker ring and the Genji gloves. And it wasn't perfect because there are filler rewards in this board, which mostly just include lots of extra crafting materials that you already have a bunch of and don't need. Aside from that, it was a fun little immersion that you were getting so much renown from everything you were doing, from side quest to main story quests, that people were just sending in items to aid you on your adventure, and I felt that was a unique experience. The Hunt board is where the real side quests are. The mini bosses you fight from here were so much fun, but it wasn't perfect because the horde fights were just cheesy and lame. That being said, beating some of these powerful enemies on here made you feel like you were so strong and you were rewarded for the effort. Lots of gil, massive experience, and good AP too. And in the endgame, some of these monsters were dropping important crafted materials you needed for the endgame gear. I thought the icon battles were actually pretty fun for the most part, and not clunky like I was afraid they were gonna be. Ifrit really moves around gracefully, and these fights did feel very epic, like you were in a monster movie. They are just cinematically beautiful, and finally, we get to see Ifrit be a badass instead of a first boss jobber. This Final Fantasy actually took replay value into account, and it made New Game Plus. It adds an extra difficulty, and it changes up all the mobs across the map. So in this story, you're not fighting the same enemies twice. They boost the level to 100. They added some extra items and weapons into this playthrough, giving you more reasons to play it again. I cannot say if there are story changes, as I just haven't played through it a second time at the time of making this video. As a Final Fantasy fan, let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, there is a Cid in the game. The bad, well, there was no airship, but also the way the map and the world worked, it wouldn't have been useful anyway. The uglies, no Biggs or Wedge, which is just sad. I hope if they do DLC, Yoshi P fixes this and, well, he adds a Biggs and Wedge NPC into the game along with the DLC. And there are Chocobos and a Moogle in this game. We have Black Mages too. The game just made them scarecrows, which makes sense from a story perspective. None of what I'm calling the glitz, the finishing touch to an incredible story, the moments that help break up some dark parts in the other Final Fantasy games, but also added depth and some wacky and zany moments to the game. like going on dates at the Gold Saucer, teaming up with a giant cat toy, or dressing up in drag to save someone, or the end of the world's looming and you're putting on a theater show, you know, remember your lines, you're the king. Or there's always time for card games, like, you want to play some Triple Triad, man? You got your deck? Let's go. Yeah, I don't give a shit. The world's about to end. I'm about to beat that ass at this card game. Let's go. Show me what you got. The first time everyone runs into a Tonberry and thinks it's just a cute little pushover until it gets closer and closer and chef's knifes your strongest party member and they die. And then the panic sets in. The added little bits that just complemented the story, and although small, memorable long after playing. And these silly little moments are missing, and I miss them. I don't want you to miss anything, so don't forget to subscribe to be notified about my next banger of a video and help spread the word of Sat Now. So, the final verdict of this game, and I might shock you all, but objectively, this game is an 8 out of 10. Yes, it has some flaws, and no, it's not perfect, but most of the negatives you will only notice while you're playing, and they will annoy you. Oh, yes, they will. But not enough to stop you from playing, or ever enough to make you lose interest in the story. My personal rating for this game would be a 7 out of 10. But that's taking personal stuff into account of my likes and dislikes from the story and characters and the above mentioned. I recommend this game to everyone who has a PS5, and if you're a fan or new to the series, it's worth your time. And long after this game is done, you will remember the story. And I look forward to seeing them take the experience and everything they learned from this game moving forward, and what 17 will look like in the future. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in hell.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear. Let the thoughts build up until I can't hear.